Hello, hello. Well, here we go. Sorry I had to miss yesterday. I kind of got out and about and sidetracked and wouldn't have enough time to get back here at 6 o'clock. So it was easier just to change the time. Anyhow, today we will be talking about past visits. Going to go ahead and wait for a few people to come in before I start taking any questions. I do have a couple questions that people have asked earlier on in the week, and I'll see if I can address them. I think I can. There we go. So, anyhow, trying to get everything set up here. Kind of an amateur when it comes to this live video chat thing. It's rather new to me. I haven't really done too much research on it, but it seems to be easy enough. So, anyhow, I figured I would open up the floor at some point to questions about past visits or processes or things that you might have been wondering about that you haven't found any answers for. I've been fortunate enough to be around this stuff for a long time, so it's been fun. Looks like we got a couple folks cruising in. We'll go ahead and give it a few minutes and let them trickle in, and hopefully we'll see some fingers flying. Typing questions. Hey, how you doing, Kathleen? Howdy, howdy. So, I'm just getting it together, and it's been a beautiful day outside. It's been kind of crisp, but not as cold as it normally is this time of year in our region. I'm in California, up in the mountains. It's really nice. So, just waiting for more folks to join. Let's see here. It's not showing me content at the moment, but that can change. Pretty sure Cindy will be in, and she'll have some questions. But, gatherings, things that's been coming up. A few folks have been talking about they've got some gatherings coming up. Really, really happy to hear about this. I encourage you guys to look inside yourself and see if that's something you want to do. Got lots of support for you. Recently in Stockton, California, Caroline Kronig, or Caroline Sunshine on Facebook, as she goes by, has stated that she'd like to do a gathering. She has set a preliminary date, looks like about mid-December or late December. She's open to whatever. I spoke to her yesterday. She's a super trooper. Been to a lot of events. She knows a lot about, the teachings and can share a lot of stuff, and you'd learn a lot from her. So if you know anybody that's in California or in the region that wants to get gathered, she's looking for folks that are wanting to do that. So, and right there's Cindy. Hi, Cindy. So, of course, she's a welcome. Cindy's a steady customer here at the video chat every couple weeks. Wonderful contributor. Good for a laugh. Hello. So, anywho, we got just a couple people in here right now, which is cool. Not a lot happening right now. I've talked to Joe, and he is about to do steady, you, as a rock. He's about to sign a contract with who he was looking at for the event this year in June. He's looking at the later part of June, 26, 27, 28, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's okay. It's being recorded, so whether they interact or not, it doesn't matter. We can chat. I'd love to see questions. Not a problem. I've got enough to say. Um, I can only see you, is what Cindy is saying. So, Joe has expressed that he's excited about being able to sign a contract with a group or a hotel. I believe it's the same company we stayed with last year, the Elegante in Colorado Springs. Not etched in stone and poured in concrete as of yet. He's still waiting on contract stuff. He will be doing a newsletter just as soon as he has any news about that. You can count on it. He's excited about doing that. Mr. Jose found my coffee. It was right there all along, just like me. All right, so look at June as usual for the event, and not sure of what Joe's got planned this year. I'm hoping we can get to know. Cindy's asking if Jim has a question. Jim wants to know what hotel is closing or under remodel now. No, we're not doing that. They're not remodeling. They already did that. It'll be okay. Yes, that's something we definitely were looking into, not having to deal with. Hey, Brian. Wave. You see my finger go towards the screen. It's because I'm waving at participants. Anyhow. Yeah, the Hotel Elegante, I don't believe I'm letting the cat out of the bag. He's just looking to sign it and make sure that it's someplace that we're going to be able to do this year. So, anyhow, I'll blame Jim because he asked the question. No, actually, it's... last year we stayed at a place called the same hotel chain, and it was really, really nice. I had a great time. The accommodations were awesome. All of them. Anyhow. So, called Joe yesterday just to see if he had a visit, because there were some times in the past where he was traditionally getting visits on November 1st, but this year, last year, and the last few years, it hasn't been the case. He did not get a visit. We just chatted about things that were going on in our lives. Pretty cool. A little bit about the hotel. A lot about what he's been doing in his personal life. He's having some things that he's going to have happening soon that I hope come into fruition for him. And of course, he's out filling the orders as they come in. Tuning forks have gone up in price. Unfortunately, the tariffs that have been set on metals coming into the United States affect our business. Don't think it affects the essential oils because I believe those are made here. But the tuning forks do import the metal from out of the country. So that will be the reasoning for their increase going into effect yesterday. So anyhow, that's happening there. Okay, now comes the question. Says Cindy, what you got for me, babe? While she's typing, I'm going to remind people to go into the Da'oth. That is one of the biggest things we've been given in a long time. It's very sacred, very, very special. It's not something that we should take lightly. Tell me about the wheat or grain. What wheat or grain? I'm not sure what you're asking about. Does this have to do with the sacred herbs? Or What does it have to do with the Shekinah? I have no idea. Wheat or the grain, I have no idea. There was one visit where Michael talked about separating the wheat from the shaft, but that I don't know what the Shekinah had to do with that. Geez, that's a good one. Hey, Stump Dave. That's a good one. I like it. Yes, I believe you did. You did stump the professor, and that's okay, because I'll dig in and see what it means. Did you run across it in a visit or something? Because the only thing that comes to mind is back in the early 2000s when things were happening amongst the seven as usual in the mid, for early 2000s to 2010. There was a lot of growth spurts and a lot of growing pains going on back then. So there was one visit in particular was about separating the wheat from the chaff, and it was when there was competing things going on amongst the sevens. People were coming, people were going, people were doing what they do. I believe they were learning how to do this thing, which is not real easy, obviously. No, I remember it from another master. Geez, then I'm not really exactly sure. Unless it's from a visit, then I probably won't put it in my mind and remember. But hello, Pauline. That's mainly my focus has been the visits, and yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't really take any of Cindy saying, "Oh wait, it was a GW thing." Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to ask Gary. He'd be the best one. He's easily reached as well. So teachonlylove@yahoo.com, I believe, is his email that he will respond right away to. In the past, he's been pretty responsive and always willing to lend info if you need it. So, and Cindy says, here's another one. I like questions, and I like Cindy's questions because she's been thinking about it all week. But I'd like to play Educate the Masters, not Stump the Professor. Stump the Professor is fun, but at the dinner table's the best. The Da'oth. Cindy is asking, the Da'oth. Sometimes I get a clear connection when I connect. That's awesome because you're getting a connection. You're having something happen with you. I don't know exactly what's going on in the Da'oth for other people. All I can know about is my own experience. Again, this is a very, very special, precious gift that they gave us to be able to do. So they didn't give us any instructions other than to observe and absorb, and that we can get into other spheres with the other tuning forks. So your experiences may vary. Disclaimer. And I'm excited to hear about other people's experiences. As far as me being able to know what's happening with your experience, I don't know. That's up to you because that's your experience. And Cindy is now stating, you say that we should clear the chakras first. It's wise to balance your chakras before you go into the Da'oth. It's wise to balance your chakras periodically during the week, or even every day if you can start a regimen of some sort. Perfect thing to do. When you tune your chakras, the flow becomes efficient. And when you receive, which is what you're going into the Da'oth to do, observe and absorb, you are more open to receiving what's been given. Good question. You know what? I believe there might be a YouTube video with a tuning for the 12 chakras. Don't quote me on this. I know Joe has it on tape. He has a audio version of the chakra tuning that is available on CD, and I believe you can buy it from Joe. And I made one years ago, but I don't know what I did with the darn thing, and I don't have a way of making copies of it. But I would encourage you to check with Joe on a tuning CD, if it's something you'd like to just load to your phone so you could put it on your headphones and boom, you're tuned right there, wherever you're at. Great idea. Jose Valdez, poor year, the same thing. Poor year, though, the same thing. Emily, other Sephora that is observed. I'm thinking he's asking por favor. He's asking me to expand on the other spheres. Okay, so the Da'oth is the only sphere, if I'm answering your question correctly, because I do speak a little Typonese. The Da'oth is to observe and absorb, yes. And if someone approaches you and connects with you and speaks with you there or communicates with you, yeah, communicate back. Find out what's going on. Have a trip with them. The other spheres, no, you don't have to just sit there and wait for something to happen. If you can cruise the boulevard, see what's going on in the spheres. It's a wonderland to me as well. I have very, very small knowledge of these spheres of the Sephiroth, and the more I learn about it, the more it intrigues me, of course. And again, this is a gift that the angels gave us so that we can move forward and help move this work forward. So when they give us tools like this, it's up to the masters to see what they do. Utilize them. As Michael once said early on when we came on Forks, that came upon Forks before our time, was play with them, see what they do. I'm going to feel it's safe to say, yeah, see what this does. Just in that one particular thing that they gave us with being able to go into the Da'oth, you can take out a lot of very creative energy. I've noticed my life is really smoothing along, and others in my life too. I don't know if it's affecting others around us. I don't know if we are, it's really tough to say what this is actually doing. But now, if you were asking about in the other spheres, you don't have to just sit there. You can walk around. If you see somebody, you can go walk up to them and talk to them. Probably they're there for you to do just that. So I don't know. It's a very different world we're playing with in that alter reality, so to say. Yes, hi, Christy. Welcome, everybody. I really like doing these videos every week because folks will raise questions that, I wasn't even thinking about. And then I get to do a seeking mission. But I am curious about Cindy's earlier question about wheat. I don't know. But a lot of the stuff we do outside, what people take Michael's stuff and they figure other things out with it, man. I don't know how all that works out. It's new to everybody that comes in contact with it, and even those of us that have been around a while, everything seems to be becoming new all the time because you get different discoveries as you go forward in this. And I do recommend you, something I've been doing a little bit more of is going through the Book of Bricks and seeing how I can participate it with a different view. Apparently for me it's been, the more you read it, the more you learn from it, and a wonderful tool, because a lot of things slip us up in life, and that'll help us get right back to where we really truly desire to get going. Cindy's saying, I think it was an offering of wheat or grain of some sort. It's a good possibility. He does a lot of shaman teachings, so Gary does talk about that kind of stuff, and he's very in tune with the different rituals and things that are necessary with those groups and what different groups, excuse me. Um, uh, Pretty much a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that type of thing. So, anyhow, um, anybody have anything that they want to bring up or hear about? Gonna have more questions, of course, Cindy. You always have those. It's a good thing. Question everything, you know. One of the things that I'd like to bring up right now that when now that Cindy raises question, um, in the mid, I guess 11. No, I want to say right around when we had that Tree of Life conference in Utah. It was kind of a side venue that Larry Contier had put together for the group and for us to get together, but it was more of a, it wasn't oneness centered. They had this class going on and that class going on and this class going on, but the interesting thing that was going on during that time were the paths of wisdom. Let me see if I can pull those up real quick. And you see, early on we were given this stuff in an order, right? So like we're looking at the Book of Bricks was the first instructions that they had given us, and then after the Book of Bricks we had been started to give the 7 keys, and we had progressively gotten those over a period of time, and during the time of the 7 keys we had received the 12 principles of a master, which some of you folks might be saying, what's that? The 12 principles. It's in some of the books as well. But one of the most fascinating things that wasn't as embraced as I thought it could have been was the Paths to Wisdom. I'm looking on my website. Paths to Wisdom, right there. Clickety click. These are things that we were given, this was information we were given. Yeah, yikes. Cindy saying yikes. Over a period of a couple of visits, Joe was given these 7 paths to wisdom. And at the time, we weren't quite ready to understand those particular things. I'm not sure if we even understand it now. I have kind of an idea of what it might be directing us towards. You see, the work that they give us direct us to things. They don't tell us things. They direct us to us so that we can figure these things out and find this within ourselves. And it always goes to the you. All right, so the first path to wisdom is conscious ignorance. Okay? And no, not another class to take, Cindy. Conscious ignorance is just to, it's kind of like an old LifeSpring thing or an old EST or forum thing. To know that you don't know. Conscious ignorance. To know that you don't know so much that you're done, because we're always looking, and looking inward bound is the place to go. And, you can't go inward if you know what you're doing. So being ignorant of pretty much everything. And knowing that you don't know everything about everything. And it's quite humbling in a sense, and it's also quite necessary in a lot of senses if you're moving forward in life, going around thinking you know everything. Like me, I don't know everything. I'm definitely open to learning something. And if I'm incorrect about something, I definitely like to be shown a path that works much better. I'm looking for efficiency and results. So the second path to wisdom would be heart-filled pride. Now, what that tells me as a master is to be proud of who I am, my accomplishments, my tasks, and my failures. Failure is what we do to build ourselves to a place to where we are successful. And, it's just first attempt at learning would be the best way to look at fail. So anyhow, we're we're constantly learning and growing, and this heartfelt pride that we're shown is that we are, we were given crowns to place upon our heads etherically with an oil and a blessing. The three kings, having pride in one's self and knowing who you are and loving yourself. Having love for yourself is having pride for yourself. There's a lot to this. It's not just one little nuance. It's a conglomeration of things that make up the whole. Okay? Number 3, something that I particularly pay attention to. Surround yourself with people greater than you. Always, I look for people that are reaching, that I'm just naturally drawn to them. I always have been. I always wanted to be around somebody that's having a good time in life. I want to know how they're succeeding in life and being happy for themselves. And you'll learn a lot about things when, like when I play guitar. When I was first started learning how to play guitar, I would always look for the really bitchin' guitar players, because you're going to pick up how to play guitar from these guys really well. It's almost like you can plug into them. And the same goes in any subject that you're going with. Be it a career thing, be it something that you're working on for a personal level, something in your own family. It goes endless, okay? So, surrounding yourself with people greater than you, not people that are, dragging you down. The people that are dragging you down or attempting to drag other people down, those are the people you want to reach out to and lift up. If they come to you with baggage, you help them unpack. You don't send them packing. Okay, so anyhow, number 4 was an interesting one. The analogies that came with that particular one I liked a lot. The truth is the truth until it isn't. And what Joe was talking about was, like 250 years ago, the world was flat. They, just 100 years ago, they couldn't, nobody could ever get on the moon. That was the truth for these people. So the truth is the truth until it isn't. Things change. Cindy's going, huh? Truths change for people. We start changing truths for ourselves. We used to think that the world was flat, for an example. And the truth is not that. It is true that the world is a sphere, but there was a period of time where we thought it was flat. Now, there are people that still think that, and I think it's more of a phase or a fad than anything. But I tell you, really, if the world was flat, your cat would have knocked us all off already. So it's not, anyway, it's just an analogy and a little backup joke, so we can move on to number 5. My particular favorite. Question everything. Question yourself. Not to a point of no more questions, but be cautious with yourself. And there was a gentleman I met, and he's a life coach, but he was like, he worked for Landmark, or actually, no, excuse me, he worked for Werner Erhard. He was Werner Erhard's personal guy. And he said something to me that really stuck. He said, always be an inquiry. Don't make everything, etched in stone, poured in concrete. Be an inquiry. You may learn something. And it's a difficult task to do. Sometimes we want absolutes, and, in some cases, not all cases, but, sometimes it's a challenge that I'm willing to take with myself. Be an inquiry and do my best not to be just, that's the only way. Yeah, that's not true, because there is no only way. I mean, it is true that there isn't only one way, is what I mean to say. Because even coming to my home, there's only one road out there, but there's several different ways to get here. So, anyhow, that was number 5. Number 6. Ding. I need one of those, you don't know Jack 6 things. Question number 6. Okay, anyhow. Wisdom is gained through struggle, not from the repetition of that which is easy. So doing the same thing over and over is not learning anything. Wisdom is gained through struggle. And there's a lot of folks struggling right now. And guess what? There's a lot of people experiencing their traps. This is a good thing. The trap is not something that we need to gauge in as good or bad or anything other than a process that we and a tool that we have for ourselves to learn and grow and be the best possible person we can possibly be, because you're all you need to be. You're perfect, whole, and complete. When you get that on a level that you respect yourself and treat yourself as sacred, not above or below anybody else, but the sacredness that you are. You are brilliant, Cindy. You're all you need to be. But we sometimes will have to go through things until we actually learn them. We think we learned something, and we didn't learn it. We learned a facet of what it was showing us. There's more to it. So be patient with yourself and go easy on yourself. Number 7. The truth is a vehicle, not a destination. So this is something that I can relate to too, because there have been times in my life where I think, this is absolute, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just a vehicle. It takes you to a place to where you have an understanding. It's not something where you are stuck in a spot. The truth is universal for everybody. It works for everybody. And that that basically leads me to talk about what we're doing as a group. What we're doing as a group is creating a world that works for everybody. Yet we need to do this individually so that we can go out into the world with this ability to create the world that works for everybody. How do you do that? You're doing it right now. I don't know, but go you. You're doing it. Whether you choose to acknowledge yourself for doing it or not, I know you're doing it. You may think that you're having hardships or failures. You're not. You're having successes and growth. It takes you to your next truth. Well, there was only 7. I didn't do the finger, you don't know Jack thing. Anyhow, darn, sorry, maybe that confused you. All right, so this, along with everything else that the angels have given over the years, pretty much leads you to yourself, leads you to a place in yourself that is full of wonder and discovery. And quite frankly, you deserve to know this place because you are an awesome person, and that place is you. And it's a place that you're always going to be. Anyhow. That's right. I was cheating. Cindy says I lost count. That's okay. I was cheating. I had the list in front of me. I just didn't get animated enough about number 7 for Cindy. Anyhow, well, that was kind of actually fun. Which, since we're on the subject, the Paths of Wisdom was given, but before that, where is the Principles of Mastery? Oh, golly. It's under Spiritual Principles. Okay. And let's just go ahead and read the page because it's short enough to just read. And there's 12. I'm not doing a dance for each one, Cindy. Okay, maybe. No. All right, so there is wisdom in each of the principles of a master. The 13 principles of a master are set along spiritual lines. I said 12, huh? Well, there's 13. Excuse me. See, I'm learning something. I don't know everything, do I? The 13 principles of a master are set along spiritual lines to assist a master in living a richer, fuller life. They are also set of actions that give the masters things to do in life. They are about each person living his or her own life fully rather than being about who others are trying to fix them. Who others are and trying to fix them. Let's fix ourselves first, kids. And others will get fixed because your beingness will do that. All right. The beauty of this system is what you live your life by And these principles not only will help your perceptions of reality and be altered, it will alter reality itself and will be altered around you. This can also be expressed as a man thinketh, so shall he be. All right. So the first one is quite simple. As a master, I accept God's love for me and know I am in God's care. Pretty simple. Some folks don't know that. They've been told lies that God hates them and stuff. That's just simply the lie is God hates you. That's the lie. Here's the truth. God loves you no matter what. How do we know? You're still here. Everything's cool. No lightning bolts every time you get weird. Like cartoons and stuff. I like cartoons. All right. Number 2. As a master, I align myself with the spiritual principles set forth in the Book of Bricks. As you remember in the beginning of our conversation, ironically, I brought up, didn't know I was going to read the 13 principles. Still trying to call them the 12. It's a 12-step thing, man. Anyhow, align yourself with that. It might help you through a bunch of the stuff like when you feel like you're trapped. It will help you through these things. And it's always wise to take a trip through there because it softens your heart. Every time you go through, your heart gets softer. And your love gets lovier, more lovish. I want to become more love-ish. Yeah. All right. I like that one. I'm getting a t-shirt made. Watch. All right. Number 3. As a master, I honor and respect my gifts and the gifts of other masters. Honor and respecting yourself and honoring and respecting other people. Just knowing who you are and knowing who other people are. Honoring them where they are. You know, we're always really quick to give advice and all this stuff. We think what other people should be doing. Just get what they're doing as a lesson for you. You get to learn something. It's a mirror. It's okay. And, you know, enjoy life. All right. Number 4. As a master, I teach only love. If God is love, and God is everything and all that will be, then apparently you're already doing that. Becoming more conscious of teaching only love. That one might be something to discover within yourself. Finding the love in all teachings. But, anyhow, as a master, I teach only love. Acknowledge yourself for being a master and acknowledge yourself for teaching the love that you are. You know, I mean, geez. Who doesn't want love? Anyhow, number 5, as a master, I am ever vigilant of my traps and not the traps of other masters. Ironically, this one's the 5th, man. I plead the 5th, dude. No, actually, yeah. Be vigilant of what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. When you're busy looking at other people's stuff and what they're doing, you're busy doing that, not taking care of yourself. It's like you're trying to put their oxygen mask on first. All right, number 5. That was cool. Number 6, as a master, I examine on a daily basis my participation with my gifts and my traps. Usually happens right as you go to sleep. You know, you're either wincing or you're smiling. One of the two. I like to smile, so I do my best not to do things that cause myself to wince. It's a practice. It's tough to do. There was a lot of wincy nights there for many years. All right. Number 7, as a master, I will be watchful for my selfishness and ego. Okay. The Satan, the vibration that we let in to lead us out of the garden. Our selfishness and ego. You know, we're getting to experience a lot of that these days in others and ourselves. Be aware of it. Know that you are capable of doing those things, and you know that you don't want to. You're a wonderful, magnificent child of God, and you are capable of creating love everywhere you go, because that's what you do anyway. And frustration does come in. But hey, you know, get through it. You can do it. I know you can. All right, number 10. Oh, excuse me, I'm jumping ahead of us. Number 8. Okay, as a master, I carry the message to all that would seek it. All right, Cindy has a question. Here we go. Ego, bad or good? Okay, go ahead. There was a visit around 2001-ish. I'll pull it up for you if you want. And Joe was talking about this bad and good thing, and Michael kind of had a moment of correction for him. He says, "Will you have no more of this less, more, bad, good?" When it comes to the angel teachings, bringing those things into it is probably just gonna. It's just not. That's not what the work is about. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It is or it is not. So, there's your answer. It is or is not. All right. So we were on number 8. Oh, yeah, that was number 7. Number 8. As a master, I carry the message to all that would seek it. Don't carry the message to people that you think need it. That's what he's really talking about here. When people see what's going on in your life, they're going to ask you what's going on in your life and what you're doing, and they're going to be inquisitive and inquiring about what you're doing to have a joyous, happy, and free life. Tell them. Give them the book. Just because somebody seems like they're spiritual doesn't mean that we need to go and strike up a conversation with them about what you think they need to do, or if you need them to be involved with something. It's best to just be who you are in these surroundings, and trust me, they will come to you and find out what you're doing. Especially if you've been coming to the events or had gone to the events in the past or have been gathered or any of those things, or even seeking. Your light's on, the moths float towards you, and share with them the path that you're on. Give them the link to the book. Let them experience for themselves what they want to do with it. All that would seek it. Not, don't take it to them. Let them come to you. They're really good at it. I'm telling you, they do come to you. Number 9. As a master, I deny no one healing or teaching because of my feelings for, about him or her. If somebody comes to you with healing, needs help, help them. It's like you're a metaphysician at this point. You're a beacon of light. People are going to come to you whether they like you or not. I've worked with people I didn't care for, but who cares? I hang out with them long enough, I find that spark. I find what I like about that person, and I want to concentrate on that. I don't want to look for something that I don't care for in someone. And especially if they give you a lot of reason for it. But the challenge here is to find what you do like. Anyhow. Don't turn anybody away from the teachings just because of what you feel. That has happened in the past, and people have not benefited from that behavior one bit. There's a group up in the northern area that have been misinformed in a lot of different ways, and there's things that happen. Whoop-de-doo, bless their hearts. Anyhow, okay, we're on number 10. As a master, I receive fair compensation for the teaching, healing, and the work I create. Let me read that again because I stuttered a bit. As a master, I receive fair compensation for the teaching, healing, and the work I create. Take 2 was much better. In the beginning of this, they were talking about, Joe not charging for the teachings and the oils and things of that nature, as well as other masters who have taken the time to take those classes and pick up those tools and offer them to others. Look, it's in the Book of Bricks. It talks about you giving so much that you're left wanting, and that is not... Hi, sweetheart. My mother just said, hey, honey. When you give so much that you're left wanting, that is not responsible giving, that is suffering. As well as when there are people out there that give free healing and free this and free that and free hugs, that's cool. But if you're doing this and it starts getting into where it costs you money to work on other people, why do that? Why put yourself in a position? Because there are people that are happy to compensate you for the works that you've created and the things that you do. And it's okay to gift people too, but don't put yourself in a position of hurting, and it's not inappropriate to charge for these things that we do. We spend a lot of money on tuning forks and a lot of money on oil, and they're very effective. especially when you use them. It's the best way to know if they're effective is to use them. Wow, what a concept, huh? Okay, number 10. Okay, number 11. This one here, as a master, I render a seventh to whoever I receive spiritual nourishment or did profit from the work of another, if you choose to participate in tithing. A seventh, okay? So this is where tithing came out, and it's an energy exchange. Like, some people tithe the event, some people tithe Joe, some people tithe their pastors, their churches. Generally, it's around 10%, but if you look at a seventh, that works to be about 14-ish. Not a required thing, wise thing to do. Glad I got reminded, too. Again, not required, but the tithe that they're talking about is not a tax. It is not something that needs to be done. There's no gun to anybody's head saying, you got to pay these people. We're not the mob. So, anyhow. Number 12. One that I really like to practice myself, and I am fortunate enough to have time to do. Laurel Tinney, hello, sweetheart. Okay, so number 13. As a master, I am forever striving to grow as a person and a useful... number 12. Cut. Rewind. Let's go back that way for a second. Number 12. As a master, I set aside time to commune with God in prayer or meditation. Not only do we get to have time to go into the Da'ath, which this leads right into that. If you meditate before you go into the Da'ath, let's say you don't have tuning forks and you don't have the CD that tunes your chakras, and let's say you want to do something to get yourself in that space. Meditate. You can do that. Meditating on a daily basis is a very highly recommended thing. For a hyperactive, ADD kind of guy like me, it's almost necessary. I'm sure you guys are thankful when I do. So, prayer and meditation, very recommended. When you connect with yourself and the universe, you're grounding yourself, you're getting in touch with the universe, good things are bound to happen. They're starting to use, anecdotal footnote, they're starting to use meditation in schools, and boy, they're having really good results. So if you don't know how to meditate, look up how to meditate. It's not a tough thing to do. It's really just quieting your mind and clearing out that space. And sometimes, you just got to put up with the stuff that's going on in there until you can brush it all out. It's a practice. Prayer, well, talk to God. You don't have to get down on your knees and stuff like that. They taught us how to pray at the Georgia Eden event in 2005, I believe. Was it 5? Yes, it was 5. Joe said, when you pray, go into be by yourself and be quiet, where you can pray outside or wherever, and put your arms out and speak. He had referenced old movies with people and spiritual people out in the field praying, and you see them out there with their hands wide open, they're praying. And when you're done praying and you want to listen, you just move your arms up a little bit like this, kind of like that, to reflect the light into your ears, and shut up and listen. See what happens. Okay, so set time to pray and meditate. Communicate with the universe. It loves you. All right, number 13, last but not least. As a master, I am forever striving to grow as a person and a useful servant of God. That's what we are. We're children of God. We are serving our God. And as children of God, we get to be in service to each other as well as the universe. And the more of us that get together and do this kind of thing, the better off the entire planet's going to be, because, well, it's kind of fun to be in service to one another. Not indentured servitude or anything like that, like you owe somebody anything and that you're just giving and you're the only one giving, because receiving is an equal part of giving. In order to give, receiving needs to happen. In order to receive, giving needs to happen. It's balance. It's balance. That's what we're learning to do. We balance our chakras, we balance meridians, we balance, our diet. That's coming, and I'm working on getting a way to get these sacred herbs out to the masters again, because it's important. A lot of folks are starting to shift into the conscientious food consumption lifestyle. Not necessarily one way or another, but they're becoming more conscious of the quality and types of foods that we're putting in our body. Good news for people. We're going to get healthy as a result of that sort of behavior. Veggies are good for you. It's okay. Anyhow, let's see. Maggie Bill. Hey, Maggie. How you doing, sweetheart? Gosh, I love that lady. Long time no see. I see Sheila. I see Jose. I see a bunch of people in here. This is great. Very cool. Are you guys having fun? Hit the like button. Don't forget to share this stuff with your friends. Okay, so far we've gone over the paths of wisdom and the 13 powers of a master. Or principles. 13 principles of the master. Excuse me. You know what? I got mixed up with the 12 powers, which is in the book, and I'm not going to pull that up, and we'll talk about that some other day. I'm going to leave it open for questions. Or did I just give you a whole lot, and you guys are absorbing and remembering what was said back then, or somewhere that you had read it before, and you're like, oh, wow, let's look at that again. Good. That's the whole idea of these things. Get you in the mode of finding yourself and the happiness that stirred your heart and led you in the direction of being in service to our planet by discovering the greatness of you and going within and healing those things that you want healed within you. You can do it. I have confidence in you. I've seen you do it. I've seen a lot of people come in all messed up and go, they're out there helping others not because they're showboating, because that's what they do. So, Donna, loving a lot of your info. Thank you. It's for you guys. And, I'm just trying to make sense of it all, too, as well. I like to look at this on a daily basis myself. It's become habitual for me and quite enjoyable. And it works into everything else I do. This is not the only thing I do all day, every day. I dabble in other things. I do like to teach. I like to travel. We're about to do some traveling. I'd like to do more teaching, though. So let me encourage you to reach out to me if you're in an area and you have enough folks to put together a class of, let's say, 10 or 15 people. Let's get together, and I'll come out, and I have a list of different things that I do teach. We can start wherever you want to go. Some folks have been advanced in this work. Some folks want to continue it. Some folks want to just start out. Don't know where you are, but if you need help with that, I'm there. But as far as traveling goes, I'd like to see a minimum of 15 people in a workshop or class, because it just makes it easier for me to be able to do the traveling and stuff like that. Also, I've been in the shop lately, and I got a friend out a buddy of mine in Florida who's been incorporating the laminar crystal stars and pendants into his practice, and he's making me make stuff, which is cool, because he's ordering different stuff that I don't normally have in stock. But I am upping my stock on all of the different laminar goodies that we have available. And I've uncovered some things that I have forgotten about. I've got stars that I made years ago that I forgot about, but I also have a bunch of beads. I've got beads coming out my ears, laminar crystal beads. I even have some actual gilded gold, 24 karat gold, and white gold gilded laminar crystal beads. And if you're a jewelry maker, or if you just want to make yourself something, this stuff will fire up anything you already got. It incorporates with other things. It works especially well with ions. The negative ion jewelry that's out there just does great with the photons that the laminar crystal pushes out. They work together. They're happily singing. More beads? Yeah, more beads. I discovered more as I was cleaning out my shop I've been making beads and laminar crystal ceramics since 2004. And here we are at 2018, coming up on 19 real quick and in a hurry. I got lots of stuff that I had forgotten about. I get on a kick on making something, and then I'll get on another kick of making something, and apparently I've kicked a whole lot around because I got a whole bunch that I found. I'll take some pictures and post it on the Grand Gathering sites or page so that you guys can pick through it and call me and say, hey, I want that one. All right. Anyhow, they're pretty affordable. They're pretty cool. Any other questions, Cindy? I know you like shiny things. Cindy and her questions. How you doing, Sheila? God, I love to see your smile. And Maggie's here. Oh, God. That's awesome. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and just wrap her up. We've coming up on an hour. Looking good, feeling good. Don't forget to go into the Da'oth, and don't forget to explore the other spheres if you're able to. Joe does have tuning forks in stock. He is ready to fill any of your orders that you may need. Go to angelicgate.com. I got all the forks and everything there. Actually, I'm taking that page down right now because the price changed. So give me a day or so to change that. I'll have that done tomorrow. And we'll go from there. Anything else? Love you too. Brainful. Sheila's thumbs up. I love that lady's accent. She's so real. All right. Well, my blessings and my gifts, my deeds are of you. Yahi Shekinah, shalom, shalom. Have a good night.